G'day and welcome to Daily Insights and Storytellings with me, Moon Willow. While I think about it, would you mind just hitting that subscribe button? And if at the end you like or dislike this video, please hit that thumbs up or thumbs down icon on it. I have a very scattered brain today, so I'm being very much in my magpie type brain where I've got all sorts going off. So one of it is around storytelling itself, and just how the reason why I call it storytelling is because it is a story, and we always tell stories. We tell stories about who we are, how we're feeling, and those stories come out in a variety of ways. It can come out within singing, vocalization, dancing, how we actually express ourselves verbally, how we express ourselves non-verbally. And I think we're all storytellers of our own story, and they're important, and it's very useful to actually start listening to ourselves and listening to our stories, because sometimes we can get caught, like we were talking yesterday, we can get caught in that loop of a particular story which may not be serving us anymore. So it's actually taking time to see the stories we're telling ourselves and whether that's beneficial to us anymore, and whether we can actually do something about it. Whether that's putting it into earth and transmuting it, or just accepting that that's part of who we are and that's okay. So storytelling is just, I find, a beautiful way of walking through the world. And I do tell stories on a regular basis, and that's why I call this storytelling. But I do it in a lot of different ways. I do it through dance, I do it through words, poetry, singing, and it just helps me understand where I am in the world. And as I listen to what I'm doing, or I notice how I'm dancing, it gives me a clue as to how I'm feeling within, because I think that part of the problem in our society is we're taught not to feel, or we're told to feel in a specific way. And if we don't feel the society's norms, that we're not feeling how we're told that we're meant to feel, we end up feeling quite bad, and that can have a negative impact on us. And we're entitled to feel the way that we feel. We're entitled to experience the world in the way that we experience it. There is no right or wrong. It's just a way of actually making sense of the way that we're walking through this world and the world itself. Why is there blue sky? Why do the trees grow in a particular way? Why do birds migrate? All of these different things, and they tend to come back down to a vibrational level as to why all of these things occur. But as I say, there's no right or wrong. It's just how we explain our experiences in the world, and giving ourselves permission to actually feel and think in a different way to what we're told is the society's norms. And more often than not, if you actually look at each individual, what is actually classed through media and through governments, etc., is not actually what most of the people are thinking. It's just that that's what the government wants you to understand as being the normal way of being. So I hope that's making sense for someone out there. I'll go into the crystal bag. So, bag matches my top today. And that one's jumped straight in. And we've got carnelian. So carnelian and sacral is very much about security and how we feel secure in the world, how we want to create the world that we live in. So I think that actually ties in quite nicely with what I was talking about with the storytelling and the stories we tell ourselves, and actually having an awareness that what comes out as society's norms is not actually always okay for us to actually experience it in that particular way. Our stories, the way that our lives have progressed, will give us information in how we want to feel, and that's all right. So this is saying to me, it's very much about how secure we feel in our world. So it's one up from the root chakra, the base chakra, and how solid we feel. and then comes up into our sacral, and how secure we feel to be creative, to be magical in the world. And I believe that we are all entitled to be magical in the world. So we'll go into the cards, and if you could focus your energy on them, I'd really appreciate it. We'll see what else our sacral needs to say to us. And the sacral is also about sensuality as well as creativity, and security. Secure in how we express ourselves in the world is okay. Let's split them. And we'll see what we've got coming out today. So we've got what I see is a mountain. You can probably see it as a rock, a road, and a small child. I'm always reminded with the road of the road less travelled by. I really love that poem. So starting with the rock, the mountain, especially it sort of ties in with what I've already said, that the sacral is the next one up from our base, our root, and how secure we feel. So in this, it's what this is saying to me, especially in relation to the carnelian and going into the sacral space and our security, that it's finding our rock and our center inside, and an awareness of how far we've come as well. That there's a lot of allegories out there about climbing up the mountain, and it's not about getting to the top particularly, it's actually enjoying the journey on the way up as well, and how creative we can make that journey seem. But it's also, if you notice within this picture, and I'm just noticing it at the moment, that the base is really quite wide. So it's having that secure base to actually take our travels away from. So actually having that solid base and recognizing the magic and the creativity within, and that helps us feel more secure. If we explore those creative aspects of ourselves, we can end up feeling much more secure in who we are and how we want to be, because we can play and have fun. And I think that life isn't all negative and isn't always meant to be hard. It's actually meant to be joyful and actually meant to be quite playful. And that's very much the energy of the sacral chakra, is having that space to create magic, to actually explore and have fun. So the next card is the road, and as I already said, the road less travelled by. It's as we get that security and feel more secure, actually embarking on a trip and embarking on our path through the world that we live in becomes more of a joy, and we have a bit more of an idea as to where we're going. I don't know exactly where I'm going, but I know that I'm on my path, and it's an awareness for all of us in that security, that as we find the things that we enjoy, we can actually start taking a path down that road to actually more things that we can enjoy from a secure base, from that level and feeling of security within our sacral area. And I've got a real purple theme going off, I've just noticed. There's a lot of purple there as well. So that to me is also indicating that this is actually coming from a spiritual perspective, that actually as we're connecting more and more with our understanding of the universe and how we fit in there and how we can feel secure in a very turbulent time, that the path that we choose to take, we will be supported in that, because that's what it's meant to be from a spiritual perspective, from our higher self's perspective as well. So it's got those purples and the blue of the throat chakra going through there as well. And then we've got the child. So this to me at the moment is the two sort of levels. One of it is new beginnings, so, and just childlike enjoyment as well. So it is enjoying the journey, it's enjoying the path, and I think we can feel that we can enjoy that more if we're feeling secure inside, that our creativity and connecting with our inner child and that wonderment of as a child actually explores the world, they see that wonderment, and it's actually allowing ourselves to, even if it's I think I was saying it the other day, that even if we're doing the same thing over and over again, that we can actually find joy in that, and we can do it slightly differently by changing how we feel about it. Actually has that impact for the rest of the day and helps us feel much more alive, I guess, within that. So very magical. And it's when we find our secure base within, and then we travel from that, it actually, new beginnings will actually show up, that we're actually more aware of what's going off out there, and we can actually create the way that we're living our life. We can create the life we want to live at the same time. But it's actually coming back, and I keep saying it, but it's actually sitting with that area of ourselves. What is it that brings us joy? How can we actually continue experiencing that joy, whether that's through the dancing or the singing or colouring or anything along those lines, and actually being okay saying that that's what I would like to be doing at this moment, and having that joyful, innocent sort of thrill from a child's perspective of actually viewing the world in a different way again. And that actually brings us about a new beginning, a new start. And it doesn't necessarily mean actually starting afresh by moving, that it's actually a fresh start of how we perceive the world. So it's not the new beginnings, although on a physical level around us doesn't look like anything's changed, the way that we perceive and feel about everything that's around us, that can be new, and that actually has that new quality to it. It's like having, after a rainstorm and seeing a rainbow in the sky, and that feeling of freshness, that feeling of newness. And we can gain that within ourselves if we allow ourselves just to sit and feel how secure we actually are in our bodies, and secure in the aspects of ourselves that bring us joy, so that we can actually move forward in a new way. So I'm hoping this is making sense to people out there. I'm just sort of trying to get a sense to see if I've missed anything. So, but to me today, very much with the sacral and the carnelian, what's really coming through to me very clearly is having that inner security, and actually feeling more connected with the way that we create, and notice the way that we create the world that we're walking through, so that we can actually move a little bit more freely, without noticing other people's expectations, that our expectations and the way we live needs to be right for us. It can't be right for anybody else, because they're not living our lives, and it's us that lives within our body 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we need to be comfortable in that. And if we're living our life or expecting security to come from somebody else, we're always going to be on the watch out for that to actually be taken away from us. And that can cause an underlying fear that we're going to lose it at any time. So if we take the time to sit within our sacral, to sit within our sense of security, no one can take that away from us once we find it for ourselves. And I just feel that's really important to express at the moment. So I'm going to go into a vocalization, and so vocalization for me as well is about bringing a vibrational energy through, and I'm never sure what's going to come out of my mouth. and I hope that it actually resonates for people when I do it. And also for me, it's like another bit of storytelling as well. So we've got the story of the crystals and then the story of the cards. And it's like the sound bypasses any of our physical levels and actually comes in and speaks. My hope is that it speaks to people on a vibrational level and just helps clear a little bit or brings up some sort of understanding. So on that level of explanation, we'll see what comes through today. Thank you very much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate feeling all your energy coming through as you're watching these. It has a huge impact on the way that the cards are read and the information that I have that I feel the need to share all the way through. Can I remind you to hit that subscribe button? And if you would like an individual storytelling, feel free to contact me through my website. Thank you very much. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, whenever you get around to watching this. Love you all.